Aloha and welcome to this week's episode. Today we're going to be working through our full restorative sequence with that focus on spinal mobility. So if you haven't already, go ahead and check out the episode that we did breaking down our supine twist, as we will be holding that pose today for about 3 minutes on both sides and getting into some of those deeper layers of fascia all along the spine, ensuring that we are balancing out both between the upper body and the lower body, as well as that right and left side. So whether you're coming off of a strong kick set or a strong pull set, a heavy lift, lower or upper body, basically whatever you have going for you, working along the spinal mobility, getting into some of these deeper twists is really going to help reset that alignment between the upper and lower, between that right and left side, and be sure that we are both in balance and in aligned physically as well as energetically. So this is going to help us increase the range of motion, which will then increase our power as well as prevent injuries across the entire body. So with these restorative series, again, our purpose is not to force ourselves into any position. We're not actively doing anything, but we're getting into those deeper layers and allowing our parasympathetic nervous system to start to activate so that we can start to accumulate all those adaptations that we're working so hard in practice to get, so we can start to digest that and integrate those into our system. Lastly, highly recommend taking this practice somewhere where you do have the time and space to allow your body and allow your mind to really relax. So somewhere a little bit quieter, and just making sure that you're taking the time, again, to unwind probably at the end of the day or at the end of your practice to get the most out of both practices. So with all that, let's go ahead and get started. So for today's practice, I highly recommend having some sort of cushion or rolled up towel or blanket nearby, as we will be moving into some really deep supine twists. And again, just super important that we are fully supporting the body as much as possible. So have those props nearby so that we don't have to get up and interrupt the practice as we start to fully get into our relaxation and fully start to unwind. So for today's practice, we're going to start off in child's pose. So let's bring those big toes to touch. Knees come out wide. We're just going to slowly start to walk the hands forward as we connect to the breath here, sinking the hips back onto the heels as much as possible. If you need some sort of small cushion in order to really sit those hips back, go ahead and do so, placing them under the hips on top of the heels. Slowly walk the hands out. Forehead comes down onto the mat, and let's take a second here to just start to connect to our breath. This may be the first time today that we've brought any awareness into our breath. So just taking a moment. As we start to bring awareness into the breath, we start to allow the mind to slow down and become really intentional and really aware of what's happening in the here and now. Starting to let go of the stories of the past, any anxieties of the future. We allow ourselves to just rest in the present moment. Every inhale, we deepen the experience. We deepen our awareness of our body, of our internal landscape, and with every exhale, we just start to melt down deeper, feeling the support of the ground and allowing ourselves to fully surrender into that space. On the next inhale, we're going to slowly just slide that left hand back, bring the elbow in closer to our knee, and we're going to go for thread the needle. So we're going to bring that right hand underneath our body, reaching out as far as we can with our fingertips, drawing that right ear down onto the mat, and we bring that left arm up overhead for a little bit more of a stretch, or often option to keep it a little bit more restorative and just keep it nice and bent. We're starting to get into some deeper layers of twist through the lumbar and the thoracic. Let that right ear just melt down into the earth. We don't need to pull or twist ourselves into any sort of position. Just allow yourself to fall into the moment. With every inhale, we feel the connection, the back of the right shoulder onto the mat. Feel the back of the right hand, the forearm, sinking down deeper. Feel it weighted into the ground. And every exhale, we feel the length of the spine start to lengthen from the crown, sinking deeper into the hips. Just holding this awareness in our mind's eye. As your body starts to unwind and you feel the muscles along the length of the spine start to let go, adjust however you need to find a deeper expression of the pose. Keeping those eyes closed. Maybe reach that left hand up overhead. And the exhale, keep sinking down through the ear, down through the shoulders. Letting that in-breath travel through any points of tightness along the spine. And exhaling to release, sending the message to your body that you are safe and it is okay to let go. And from here we slowly start to unwind. Bring that left hand down closer towards your head. Slowly start to unwind. We'll come for just a quick counter twist, pressing through the left hand. We just float that right hand nice and gently overhead. Feel the expansion along the entire front part of the body. And we exhale to release. We'll do the same thing on the other side, gently walking that right elbow down to the mat. We reach through on that left side, dropping that left ear down to the mat this time. Following our fingertips with our gaze. Right elbow either reaches overhead for a little bit more of a stretch or just drop it down for an even more restorative practice. And drop that left ear down to the mat, sinking that left side down past the mat into the earth, allowing the full body, full mind to fully release. Breathe into the space in the outside part of the ribs to expand the chest. Exhale, bring that belly button towards the spine. Just keep creating space for the breath to travel through freely. Getting into the deeper layers of our fascia, getting into the deeper rhythms of our body. The mind starts to wander, just gently bring it back to the breath. Again, adjusting as the body starts to release the muscles along the length of the spine. Adjust the posture however you need to keep finding depth, to keep unwinding, and to keep finding that release. Just a few more rounds of breath here. Start to lengthen through the exhales. And when we're ready, we'll slowly draw that right hand back down towards our face, towards our head. Pressing through gently, slowly, we start to unwind, opening up through that left side, bringing some space in the entire front of the left body. Feeling that front body start to expand and open up on the inhales. And then we exhale to release. Okay, so getting into some more deep twists, we'll come onto the backs, making our way down nice and slow. We'll come into a supine twist. So hug those knees in towards the chest. Drop those heels down into the mat. And then super gently, we're just going to keep the heels grounded. And we're just going to drop the knees over to the right side. So the bottom of the feet will pick up. But we're just starting to bring some gentle release into that low back. Keeping that left shoulder glued down onto the mat as much as possible. Then inhale, come back to center. Just nice and gentle, starting to create some space through the lower part, neutralizing out the spine. Exhale over to the left, just dropping the knees out as low as they can go. Soles of the feet will lift. Keep that right back of the shoulder blade glued onto the mat. Inhale, come back to center. We go for our full supine twist now. So we're going to draw that right knee up into the shoulder, hug it in closely to our chest. Left leg kicks out nice and long. We're going to breathe in, hugging that right knee up into the armpit. Big breath in here. And then as we exhale, guiding it with our left hand, come up and over. Almost like you're just coming along that axis point of the left side of the body. That right leg falls over. So option here, highly encouraged, is to bring a cushion or a pillow for that knee to fall on. Again, most important thing is keeping that right shoulder glued onto the mat. So wherever you are with that, however much support you need, go ahead and take it so that you can really just let that knee fall and feel the part around the lower back start to release and unwind. Gaze over those right fingertips. I always like to keep my left hand just like as a little bit of support on that right knee, but I'm not pulling anything down. I'm just putting it there for a little bit of added support. Close down the eyes and gaze over those right fingertips. Intentionally breathing into the space along the low spine. Drawing that breath down into the deep areas around the pelvis and around the tailbone. As we felt with both our activation and our strengthening series, the more we can initiate the breath from these lower regions, the more stable and the more powerful our center point is. So if we can take the time now to start to unwind from these center points, the more we can return the fascia and return our body center line into the middle, releasing some of those imbalances that we feel with freestyle, maybe some uneven pulls and tendencies that we have in backstroke. Any imbalances that we have in the body, this practice just takes the time to allow those to start to unwind and return to their most natural ways of being. We're just allowing the body, its capacity, to start to return to baseline. As we get deeper and deeper into the pose, if you're able to take off some of the cushion, go ahead and do so. If not, just keep breathing into that space around the hips, around the lower part of the spine. Breathe in on the exhales. Connect down deep into the layers around the shoulder, melting down into the ground. Have that be the anchor point. Where you can slowly start to release the twist into the lower body. Lengthen the exhales here. Just allow that in-breath to happen. And on the next inhale, we slowly start to unwind. Draw that knee up into the chest. Use both hands to guide it gently. Slowly unwind from the twist. Bring both knees up into the chest. And from here, we're just going to come into Savasana just to neutralize out the spine for a second. So bring both legs long and just come, legs drop out nice and wide, back of the hands onto the mat, chest nice and open. And just take a second here to feel the difference between the two sides. So again, especially as we work the twist, it's It's not uncommon for there to be differences between the right and the left side. It's not necessarily bad or one side is wrong or weak, but we just want to start to bring awareness into that so we can understand where some of those energy holds might be, so we can start to release them and allow the energy to move a little bit more freely, preventing injury for us in the water. From here, we'll draw both knees back up into the chest, nice and slow. Big squeeze, bring the forehead to the knees. On the next exhale, we'll just kick that right leg out nice and long. This time the left knee squeezes up into the elbow. Exhale to release all the stale air, prepping the body for a deep inhale. As we float that left knee up and over the right side, gazing over our left shoulder, gluing the left shoulder on the ground, and then filling in that space below the knee with any support that we need. So find that twist, really getting into the lower part of the spine. We open up through that left side. Close down the eyes, gazing in the direction of your fingertips. Again, bringing that right hand onto the top of the knee for support without necessarily trying to force it to go any further than it wants to. Lengthen from the heel to the crown of the spine. And then exhale, fully melt down into the pose. Feel the breath along the entire spine, contract, release, let go. Keep the mind coming back to the awareness surrounding the breath, again, without necessarily changing anything. Allow the mind to follow. Just being an active observer of where the breath might be traveling to, where it finds and meets some resistance, and can we just gently encourage the breath to start to work through those spaces. And then just start to take note if you're holding tension anywhere else in your body. Can you release anything around the shoulders? Are you holding anything around the jaw? Can you add an extra wave of relaxation over our temples to the space around our foreheads and our brow? Is there anything around our neck that we can let go of? Exhale and let it go. We're subconsciously holding anything around our hips or around the knees. We really, truly, fully and deeply surrender and just let that go. Allow yourself to sink deeper and deeper into the space in your body. Coming back to the breath, lengthen the exhale. If you can take out any layers of support around the cushions, if your body's starting to unwind and deepen into the pose, go ahead and do so for these final few. And then on the next inhale, slowly bring the head back to center, gazing up towards the ceiling. Slowly start to draw that left knee up into the shoulder. Bring the right knee up to meet. Draw the forehead into the knees. Exhale, drop the heels, drop the back of the palms. And we'll just gently just drop side to side. Keeping the feet, the soles of the feet planted this time, just letting the knees be heavy. Just bringing a little bit more of movement in before we go for final rest. Back of the hands to the mat, palms face up. Let those legs fall out nice and wide. And just starting to take note of any energy passing through, any differences between the right and the left side, anything that might be going on around the hip space, anything around the low back. If you want some added support in Savasana, we can go ahead and add a cushion underneath the back of the knees here. And that just starts to bring that arch out of the low back and just starts to neutralize the spine a little bit more, especially after going for some of those deeper openings through the spine. It's just important to continue to invite stability into the areas around that for full release and full relaxation. Take a second to breathe into the back body, just feeling the weight of the heels. Feel the weight of the hips. Feel the weight through the back of the ribs, melting down past the mat, past the earth. Feel the weight of the back of your hands. Allow them to be heavy and sink through. Keep feeling the weight all the way to the back of the shoulders. Heavy through the back of the head. Deep breath in here. Feel the front of the chest nice and light, and then we exhale, sinking deeper and deeper into the base, into the back body. Release, let go. Stay here for just a few more rounds of breath. Allowing the body to neutralize, to finish making any adjustments, integrating the practice into the deeper layers of our fascia and into our deeper layers of subconscious. And one final full mind-body exhale. Inhale, start bringing small movements back into your fingers and your toes, wiggling them out. Circle out the wrists and the ankles. Slowly roll over onto one side, moving away any props. And then make your way back up into a seat. One big breath in here, feeling the connection, tailbone to crown of the head. Thank yourself for taking the time to take care of your body, to take care of your mind, and allowing yourself to continue to experience this practice, not only on the mat, but in the water, in a really deep and really intentional way, as we continue to move through the various layers of what it has to offer. Bring the hands to heart center, press equally through the palms, blink open the eyes. Return to your space. That is it for our restorative session this evening or afternoon after practice, wherever you are in your day today. Thank you so much for being here, for taking the time. Again, super important to take these more restorative practices. Doesn't feel like we're necessarily actively doing very much, but there's a lot that happens within that space to start to integrate all the doing of practice, all of those higher intensity efforts, just allowing our body and mind the time to integrate those and adapt thoroughly and completely so that we can actually be getting the most out of those practices. So thank you so much. Enjoy the water this week. We'll be back next week with another activation series. Until then, be well and namaste.